Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, good afternoon, good night for everyone that watched this presentation. Blessing of grace and peace be with you today and always be conscious every day. In this time, I and my friend want to presentation about the solving. We want to continue the presentation about solving system of simultaneous linear equation, and we want to complete our assignment. But before our presentation, we want to introduce ourselves. My name is Tegar Habib.
Hello guys, my name is Ivana Esteria.
And I, Divo Albain Suramatio. Nice to meet you.
Okay, next. Next, please. Okay, so the content of our presentation for the first one is the material review, the second one is trust example, the third one is flowchart, and the last one is, of course, it's the conclusion. Next. So for the first chapter or first point of our content, the material review, we will discuss about, next please. We will discuss about the definition of linear algebra. So what is the linear algebra? Linear algebra is mathematical discipline that deals with vector and matrix, and more generally with the vector space and linear transformation. Unlike other parts of mathematics that are frequently invigorated by new idea and unsolved problem, linear algebra is very well understood, and its value lies in its main application from material physics to modern algebra and coding theory. Next. So in this linear algebra, we have two methods. The first method is direct method, and the second method is indirect method. The direct method is to calculate the solution after performing a finite series of computational operation, and this method is best for solving small and filled matrices like Gauss elimination method or the Gauss-Jordan method. And then the second method is indirect method. This method is to approach the solution by improving in an initial guess until the error is negligible, and this method is best for solving large and sparse matrices. The example of this method like Jacobi method and the Gauss-Seidel method. Next. So we will go to the second point of our content. That is trust example. So in this presentation, the problem that we use in this presentation are like this in this slide. So from this problem, next please. So from that problem, we know that the cross-section area is 27 centimeter square, or it's equal to 2000 millimeter square, and the modulus of elasticity in the problem is 70 GPa or gigapascal, that equals to 70,000 Newton divided by millimeter square. And then from the structure, we can analyze the node coordinate table and the element connectivity table. From the node coordinate table, we can see that from the first node, the x-axis the x-axis is 0 and the y-axis is 0. The second node, you can see the x-axis is 1,500 millimeter and the y-axis is 0. For the third node, we can see the x-axis is 0 and the y-axis is 1,000. And the last node, the fourth node, we can see that the x-axis or x-coordinate is 1,500, and then the y-axis is 1,000. And also we can see the element connectivity table in the right side. Next. To solve the problem, our group make a flowchart. So this flowchart, from the start of the coding, we have to input the parameter and geometry like the cross-section area, the modulus of electricity, the force and length, and also the angle of the problem. After that, we have to finding the stiffness matrix and the error, and then we have to changing the stiffness matrix to local stiffness matrix, and then after that we have to adding all the local stiffness matrices to global stiffness matrix, and after that we have to applying the boundary condition and finding the displacement with Gauss-Jordan method. After that we will get the output, and and that's all the ending of the coding. Next. So in this step, we have to discretize the problem into nodes and elements. So from this code, we can see that we want to find all the point that we have to solve the problem, like discretize the nodes and elements, and we have to find the element stiffness matrix, assemble global stiffness matrix, the boundary conditions, solve global displacement, reaction force, internal force, normal stresses. Please next. And also we want to find the data for each member. We want to find the SY unit, the imperial unit, and also the external loads and boundary condition for each node. Next. And then the next step is to assume the solution that approximate the behavior of an element. Next, please. So in this step, we will use the K formula. K formula is equal to A, or the cross section, point the modulus of elasticity divided by length. From the code, we can see all of the parameters or the variable that we want to find. We will use this K formula to find that parameter. Next. Ivana, please continue the presentation.
Okay, thank you, Tegar, for your explanation. Hello, everyone. Let me introduce myself again. My name is Ivana Esteria, and now I'm going to present you how to solve stiffness matrices of each element. Okay, next. So for the flowchart, to find stiffness matrix, we can start from input desired angle, and then solving the stiffness matrix, finding the error, and end the program. Okay, next. So from that algorithm, we can find the coding. First, we can input the number of matrices, and the output will be number of size matrix. And we can define or input the theta, the stiff trigonometry, the stiff transformation, the size from matrix, and the float error. And the end will be stiffness matrix element. Okay, next. And this is how to convert the stiffness into global format. We can, the input is member matrix and the node of matrix, and the output is size of member matrix, and for the integral is nodes. For the algorithm, first initialize element stiffness matrix and its global format. And then for each member element stiffness matrix, find the corresponding global matrix coordinates. And the last one is transfer values from the element format into its position in the global format. And the end will be stiffness matrix global. Okay, next. And now I'm going to explain about stiffness final form. Next. For the flowchart to find local global matrix, first start and input the stiffness matrix and the point connected. And applying initial zero matrix, converting stiffness matrix to global matrix, and end the program. Okay, next. Okay, this to assembly the elements into final form. This is the coding. Next. And the last one, I am going to explain about displacement matrix. Okay, to apply the boundary conditions and loads. First, we can find the force, and then we can construct augmented matrix of the final matrix, and then change rows according to boundary condition, and then solve into reduce row echelon form by Gauss-Jordan function. And the end will be displacement matrix. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ivana. And hello, everyone. My name is Divo, and I would like to continue the material presentation, and we are going to discuss about the Gauss-Jordan for the coding of the structure. Well, before we start to discuss the coding, we have to know the flowchart of the Gauss-Jordan itself. We start by input the initial data of G and also X, and then solving it with Gauss-Jordan method with solve and eliminating number of float error, and the algorithm finished. Next one. Here we can solve the system of algebraic equations simultaneously of the function of Gauss-Jordan using OpenModelica. So from the Gauss-Jordan algorithm, we transforms input matrix A into reduced row echelon form matrix B. Okay, so the input will be an augmented matrix of M times N, and the output of matrix in reduced row echelon form. And we have to input the local variables next to the limit to handle floating point errors, and we can also transfer input matrix A into variable B. Next one. It will be to deal with floating point errors, finding the pivot, get position index of lowest row with greatest pivot number, no pivot in this column, move on to the next column, it's a constraint, and then swap rows from the edge to the max rows, and then divide pivot row by pivot number. For all rows below the pivot, we have the constraints, and the coding will be next on to the next pivot row and columns. There will be many and if because the constraint is more than one. And then next one is the matrix is now in row echelon form. We have to set values of H, K to M and N. Dealing with floating point errors, finding the pivot, get position index k of pivot, no pivot in this row, move on to the next row. It's also the constraint of the coding or the structure problem. We have to perform row operations too, and move on to the next pivot row and column as the next constraint, and then we have to make the matrix as a reduced row echelon form and also finish the function. Next one, it would be to make the post-processing phase of the problem given out from the case. Okay, in this slide, we will discuss about finding reaction forces using the OpenModelica of function of post-process truss. We input the required format, and then we have to know the reaction forces factor as the output, also the internal forces and normal stresses matrix as the output. We input the load matrix as the algorithm, stiffness constant factor, reaction forces. Next to the reaction forces also, cleaning float errors, internal forces and normal stresses with the given constraint. And also we have to construct transformation matrix, retrieve U displacement values, calculate internal forces U, transfer values to UF matrix. Next on, we are going to retrieve U displacement values, and it is also by the end of the post process, we have to know the cleaning float errors. Well, here it is, the result of our problem. We have run the simulation of the model, and this one is for the displacement of U. You can see it through the detailed grid. After we run the check model, we have to ensure that the model is quite okay, or the system doesn't detect any error on the model, so we can run the simulation, and here it is, the displacement. Next on is the reaction forces from the structure of the problem given. And the third one will be the chart K of the problem. Going on to the last one, it will be the result of internal forces and normal stress. Hereby, we have to check all of the internal forces on the right side of the variables to ensure that all the forces of the internal and normal stress is shown in the detailed grid. Next on, we are going to make a conclusion from the problem. In the conclusion, we have two main points. Number one is two-dimension truss analysis is one of the applications from linear algebra. It gives a massive impact to the engineering world by making the analysis of structures easier. And the second one, OpenModelica is a great software to help out engineers analyze and solve a problem in the scope of numerical way. So it's best to maximize that platform to repetitive practices. Okay, next on, here is a quote before our ending session from Steve Jobs. Once he said that, learn continually, there's always one more thing to learn. Next on is the final slide, maybe the differences from our group. We have two main differences. Number one is from the PowerPoint of week 3 linear equations with OpenModelica from Mrs. Chandra as our assistant lecturer. Thank you, Mrs. Chandra. And the second one is from a book entitled Numerical Method for Engineer 7th edition. Thank you from our group. apologize for any mistakes that we've made during our explanation and have a nice day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bye-bye.
Sarangi.